Animism, belief in spiritual essence within natural phenomena, underpins many indigenous faiths. It recognizes the presence of souls or spirits in animals, plants, and elements. Animists view the world as alive and interconnected, fostering reverence for nature. Spiritual practices include rituals to honor ancestors and commune with spirits. Animism emphasizes harmony with the environment and ecological stewardship. Cultural traditions and storytelling convey animistic cosmologies and ethical teachings. This worldview celebrates the sacredness of all life forms. Pantheism, identifying the divine with the universe, celebrates nature's inherent sacredness. It views the cosmos as a manifestation of divine presence or energy. Pantheists perceive spirituality in natural phenomena and cosmic interconnectedness. Nature serves as both the creator and sustainer of life, inspiring awe and reverence. Pantheism often aligns with ecological movements, advocating for environmental protection. Spiritual experiences arise from contemplation of the universe's beauty and complexity. Pantheistic philosophies bridge spirituality and scientific understanding. Humanism, emphasizing human potential and dignity, promotes secular ethics and values. It prioritizes reason, compassion, and personal development in shaping moral conduct. Humanists advocate for social justice, equality, and universal human rights. Ethical decision-making stems from empathy, critical thinking, and cultural understanding. Humanism celebrates human creativity, art, and scientific achievements. Secular humanists prioritize well-being and flourishing in this life. They seek to improve society through education, democracy, and humanitarian efforts. Buddhism, founded by Siddhartha Gautama, offers a path to enlightenment and liberation. It teaches the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path for spiritual development. Buddhists seek to alleviate suffering and attain nirvana, a state of ultimate peace. Meditation and mindfulness practices cultivate awareness and insight into reality. Buddhism encompasses diverse traditions from Theravada to Mahayana schools. Central 10 include impermanence, interconnectedness, and compassion for all beings. Hinduism, one of the world's oldest religions, encompasses diverse beliefs and practices. It emphasizes dharma, duty righteousness, karma, action consequences, and moksha, liberation. Hindus worship a multitude of deities, reflecting a rich tapestry of mythologies. Sacred texts like the Vedas and Upanishads provide spiritual guidance and wisdom. Yoga, meditation, and rituals foster spiritual growth and connection to the divine. Hinduism encompasses various sects, including Vaishnavism, Shaivism, and Shaktism. It celebrates festivals like Diwali, Holi, and Navaratri, honoring gods and goddesses. Atheism, absence of belief in gods, reflects skepticism towards religious claims. It asserts a worldview rooted in empirical evidence and rationality. Atheists reject supernatural explanations, relying on scientific inquiry and reason. Morality and meaning derive from human experiences and social interactions. Atheism challenges traditional religious doctrines and encourages critical thinking. Secular humanism often aligns with atheistic principles, emphasizing human welfare. Polytheism, worship of multiple deities, characterizes ancient and contemporary cultures. It acknowledges a diverse pantheon of gods and goddesses with distinct roles. Polytheistic faiths often integrate nature worship and mythological narratives. Historically, civilizations like the Greeks, Romans, and Egyptians embraced polytheism. Each deity governs specific aspects of life, from love to war. Rituals and festivals honor various gods and goddesses, fostering community cohesion. Agnosticism, uncertainty regarding God's existence, questions the knowability of divinity. It acknowledges limitations in understanding the nature of the divine. Agnostics neither affirm nor deny the existence of a higher power. They advocate for open-minded inquiry and skepticism towards dogmatic assertions. Agnosticism allows individuals to explore spirituality without committing to specific beliefs. Questions about the supernatural prompt agnostics to seek evidence and rational explanations. They value intellectual honesty and humility in exploring life's mysteries. Judaism, monotheistic religion of the Jewish people, founded over 3,000 years ago. It centers on the Torah, containing laws, history, and ethical teachings. Jews observe rituals like Sabbath, Passover, and Yom Kippur with reverence. Synagogues serve as places of worship and community gathering for Jewish congregations. Judaism values justice, compassion, and the pursuit of knowledge. Christianity, world's largest religion, centers on Jesus Christ's teachings and life. The Bible, comprising the Old and New Testaments, guides Christian faith and practice. Christians believe in God's love, forgiveness, and salvation through Jesus Christ. Churches, cathedrals, and chapels serve as places of Christian worship. Christianity's diverse denominations include Catholicism, Protestantism, and Eastern Orthodoxy. Islam, monotheistic faith revealed to Prophet Muhammad, emphasizes submission to Allah. The Quran serves as Islam's holy scripture, guiding moral and spiritual conduct. Muslims practice the 5 pillars: faith, prayer, charity, fasting, and pilgrimage. Mosques provide spaces for communal prayers, sermons, and Islamic education. Islam promotes peace, justice, and social welfare within its global community.